Millville, Minnesota has become a pretty special place for fans of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, and this year's round of the Spring Creek National didn't let those fans down. We had perfect weather for racing and some great battles in those races as well. We're going to give you all the highlights right here. It's round 7. Ryan Dungey, Blake Baggett trying to extend their championship runs, and the best riders in the world going to try to stop them. Where are we at?
What's up? Welcome to Millville. Andrew Short here, about to bust it out, Moto 1.
It's time for the Racetracks Motocross Show on AllySports.com. Jason Weigandt, your host here. We're going to start it off with highlights of the 250 class, Moto number 1. As mentioned, Blake Baggett has a little win streak coming into this one and the points lead. Guys like Alex Martin looking to rally here at his home track. Someone trying to upset the momentum of the number 12. It starts with a good start, and take a wild guess who got one. The whole shot master nowadays, Justin Barsha on the Geico Honda, is going to grab the early lead on the number 20. Ken Roczen right behind him on the Red Bull KTM. Kyle Peters on the Star Valley Rockstar Yamaha. And then a bunch of other Geico Honda riders. Will Hahn, Justin Bogle, Eli Tomac. Marvin Musquin is there with Baggett right behind him. Peters will do a good job, as well as Hahn, keeping those guys in check. But Tomac was soon the man on the move. He wanted to get to third and challenge this battle between Roczen and Barsha for the lead. Check out Baggett here, trying to find lines to make moves, try to get around Musquin. But he would find it very difficult to do that because the Frenchman goes down in front of him, and it was already a tough start to the moto for Baggett. It was made only worse. So he got aggressive. Here he is making moves on Bogle. He would get Hahn as well. Eventually he was around Jason Anderson. He was going to be up to the number 4 position, and then would try to start closing the gap on the leaders in front of him. Here's Tomac catching Roczen and Barsha. Now watch this. They're going downhill as Baggett's going up. Baggett's about 8 seconds behind the lead trio. But then he started clicking off laps 3 seconds per lap quicker than these 3 riders who are absolutely hauling out front. Here's the number 12 Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, soon to become a factor in this race. Different things to watch here. At one point, Tomac was going after Roczen. Roczen was going after Barsha. And then eventually Baggett was going past Tomac and Roczen to move into third and then second. Then he sets his sights on the leader, Barsha. Tomac would get around Roczen as well for third. Barsha did everything he could to hold Baggett back, but then Baggett pulls off a crazy pass, working down the inside of Barsha to take over the lead. And once Baggett has the lead late, that's the end. Barsha, Tomac, and Roczen would round out the top 4. That valuable 5th place spot would go to another Geico Honda rider. That's Will Hahn. Baggett's got another moto win. Let's move to moto number 2. Yes, and yet another hole shot for Barsha, but better starts this time for his teammate Tomac there in the 17, and as well for Baggett, who would quickly move his way up into the number 3 position. But Tomac looked ultra determined in this one. He would get around his teammate Barsha early and open up a bit of a lead. Baggett would have to work his way past Barsha. Here's Roczen in a good battle with Justin Bogle to try to get into the piece of the top 5. Baggett would eventually get around Barsha with a crazy pass in the sand whoops and then go after Tomac for the lead. Tomac looked determined in Moto 1 to try to tag with Baggett. He looked determined in Moto 2 to try to hold Baggett off. But eventually Baggett would get to that number 1 position. A couple other riders to watch here. Jason Anderson was up front, but he had an engine pipe header come off, slow his charge. And Baggett would take the lead from Tomac. Looked like it was going to be checkout time for the number 12. Don't think so. He would actually go down. A rare big mistake from Baggett, and that would allow Tomac to inherit the lead. Baggett would get up, his bike mangled to the number 6 spot. From there, Tomac would check out. Barsha second, lonely ride here for Roczen, who would inherit third with the Baggett crash. Bogle and Anderson were up there early. Bogle in his first race back would fade back a little bit. Anderson with those exhaust problems we mentioned would go backwards as well. That allowed Baggett to get around those riders and move up to 4th and salvage some points. But Tomac's going to go 3-1 on the day and take his 3rd overall victory of the year. Barsha and Baggett are going to join him on the overall podium, with Roczen and Blake Wharton rounding out the top 5 overall. Let's move to the 450 class. You know who the fans here in Minnesota want to see win this one, Ryan Dungey. And of course, he's carrying a massive points lead, a massive win streak into this one. So the odds are pretty good, right? And he even gets a good start in the first moto. Michael Byrne is going to edge everyone out for the whole shot, but he makes a little mistake. That holds up Dungey. Then Mike Alessi makes a mistake and allows Jake Weimer to get to the lead. Alessi quickly passes Weimer back to take over the number 1 spot. This all happened in the first 3 turns. Alessi started to check out While Dungey was trying to make up some lost ground, he would quickly get into the number 5 position behind Weimer, Kyle Riegel, and Byrne. Alessi doing what he does, getting good starts and logging fast laps early. He would get away from Weimer. There's Riegel, who would eventually have a big crash, send him backwards on the JGR Toyota Yamaha. There's Dungey getting around him. He also got around Byrne. Dungey's up to 3rd, and now catching Weimer, who said that he just wants a chance to ride with Dungey and see what Dungey does. Dungey makes the pass on him in the whoops. Weimer had a little view of him here. Then Dungey would pull away and go after Alessi. But I'll tell you what, Alessi is being stingy. When he has a lead, he's doing everything he can to keep it. Not riding dirty, just keeping that Moto Concepts bike as wide as he can. But Dungey knows how to play the patience game. He would just wait for an opening. Alessi even threw in a little bit of a brake check here at the entrance to the whoops. Dungey said, I'll still pass you anyway. But you notice Weimer started to close up. Alessi was riding defensive. That slowed up the leaders. And eventually Weimer would get around Alessi as well to take over the number 2 position. Alessi said he was not quite happy with the bike setup in that moto, would finish 3rd. Great battle between these riders, Rattray, Andrew Short, and Brayton. Brayton would eventually get by them to take 4th in the moto. Short would finish 5th. Rattray 6th in his second race back from injury. Meanwhile, Dungey, big old lead, fans cheering him every lap. A perfect homecoming for the Minnesota native. He wins the first moto. That is 9 straight moto wins for the Red Bull KTM man. Let's go to moto number 2. Michael Byrne is going to nail the whole shot again. Obviously, the BTOsports.com Butler Brothers Suzuki's, some tuning from the JGR folks, are working. But unfortunately for him and everyone else, Dungey's got a good start here as well. He would quickly go around the outside and make the move on Byrne to take the lead. Alessi would follow Dungey through, get up to the number 2 spot, and Alessi's always fast in those early laps. He would keep Dungey honest the first half of this moto. There's Riegel, had another good start, but eventually would go back, hit another tough day. All eyes focused on Dungey. Could he catch Alessi? Could he get it, Alessi? He does, but Alessi does everything he can to keep him in sight. Second half of this race, though, it was all Dungey. Weimer would move up to 3rd. No chance of catching Alessi, who rode a little bit stronger down the stretch in this one, and Brayton would go 4-4 in the day. Another solid performance by the Muscle Milk Honda man. Rattray crashed on lap 1, then bent his front wheel trying to come through traffic. DNF from Moto 2. It's Dungey, it's Alessi, it's Weimer, 1, 2, 3 in this one. Alessi shakes his head. He's giving it everything he can, but he just can't seem to find the pace of the number 5. He and Weimer swap moto scores on the day. They go 3, 2, and 2, 3. Alessi's better second moto finish will allow him to edge Weimer for the podium. Dungey makes the math easy for the win. He goes 1-1, and just about everyone here was pumped on that. Well, maybe except Alessi, who wants to do more than lead laps. He wants to win. Weimer feeling the same way. Happy with the podium, he'd like a little more. Not the fans, though. Let's talk to Ryan Dungey. Okay, we're here at Ryan Dungey. If there's one race we want to talk to the guy, it's the one where the hometown friends and family are here. The big bosses come over from Austria, from KTM. It was a pretty banner weekend for you all around.
Yeah, really an awesome weekend. You know, we on top of the weekend getting a win, we had a lot of family and friends here being at the hometown race. Spent a lot of time here as a kid growing up, and as well as Pitt and Robert came over from Austria. You know, it's cool for them guys to come over and see us. You know, the guys over here in the U.S. hound them and, hey, we need this, we need that. So it's cool to at least get a win and for them to come over and see all this. And they're very dedicated. So great group of people.
The last lap of the second moto, you threw an awesome whip over what they're calling the catapult now. I don't often see that out of you. Is a little something special in the last lap to win here at Millville?
You know, it's good. You got to have a little bit of fun. And people kind of maybe get on me a little bit. And I heard you on the broadcast the other day, not throwing a one-hander in the first moto.
The 250 guys did it in over Larocco's Leap.
But Baggett did it. Yeah. But no, I do. I had fun. You know, it's them laps. You know, just trying to count down. You know, just trying to keep a good pace going all the way to the end. But you know, still got a little bit of had a couple rough ones last year. So when we cross the finish line, then we'll celebrate. But I definitely, you know, got to have some fun. Crowd was awesome today. Fans were really behind me, and I couldn't ask for a greater group of people and for them to be able to celebrate it with them. And
pretty cool what you're doing. You got a charity bike ride tomorrow. You got anything left? The legs got something in them?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we'll probably stick to the minor, a little 25-mile, but it's you know, it's a Minnesota Major. It's what the ride's called, charity ride. It's a nice ride along the rivers, and it's a $50 registration fee, you know, but it's all to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and it's something I hold really close to my heart. You know, I had a grandmother pass away that was really tough for me and for my family, and as it is for a lot of people. So anything we can do to give back, help these kids out, and keep that cancer research finding more and more out every minute.
All right, that's pretty awesome. A champion here, giving back. Well done, Ryan Dungey. Get something to eat. Get out of here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. That's our Racer X show. We'll see you next week from Washougal.